Levy. Close the door? It's closed. The people in and out. They're coming in and coming out. Any questions on the item 2325? Did we get the report on email?
No, but I brought with me Sergeant Detective Bulvio, because you were asked for the how they
want to spend those funds, yes. Just take an opportunity to expand on that, please.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here. So we've done the PSN grant the last few years. I actually put a packet together if you want to pass it out. So basically, the grant is the street crimes unit, which is the drug unit and the gang unit. We partner with the Mass State Police, and we do directed patrols in certain neighborhoods, and we focus on drug trafficking and gun violence is pretty much what the grant is for. So the grant, last year I believe we received $50,000.
Keep on going, yeah.
I believe last year we were awarded $50,000. This year we're awarded $30,000. We have nothing to do with how the awards go out. I guess every city that's on the grant got a little bit less money than what they did last year. So basically, the PSN grant, it's a working partnership with the Massachusetts State Police, like I said before. It includes multiple communities. It's Barnstable, Boston, Brockton, Fall River, Holyoke, Lawrence, Lynn, and Springfield. And it's the money's used to address community-based criminal activity related to gang violence and drug trafficking. Again, we've done it the last few years with Massachusetts State Police. Just for a few numbers on what we've done, from 2021 to 2023, the partnership was responsible for executing over 400 arrests and the seizure of 27 firearms and over 9 kilos of fentanyl. As a result of the PSN grant from last year, the money had to be spent between March and June, because there's a time limit. It'll be the same thing. If approved this year, it has to be done. It has to be used by June 30th again. So last year, in the 3-month span, the street crimes unit, which again is consisted of the drug unit and the gang unit, along with Mass State Police, we executed 125 arrests, seized 5 firearms, over 11,000 grams of fentanyl, 1,500 grams of cocaine, 1,200 grams of methamphetamine, and $150,000 in money. So the packet that I passed out shows all the other communities that are involved in the PSN grant in their specific community that they have to work in, and it'll show the breakdown of numbers. I believe Lawrence is on page 6 or 7 in that packet. And it had, I highlighted some points there, and it has all the totals of what we did. But you could compare it to the totals that were done in the other cities and towns, and I believe the only other city that may have better numbers than what we had was Boston, and, you know, they should, for the amount of officers and stuff that they have. So it's a very successful program, very successful grant. We make a lot of arrests and take a lot of drugs and guns off the street. So that's pretty much what we did with the money last year.
No, thank you, appreciate it. Councilors, any questions?
I have a question, Council President. So through you, with all the publicity since the new administration has kicked in, the executive orders and the new things that are going on with the borders, both Canada and Mexico, I know you don't, I doubt you have an answer now, but would be of interest to me going forward, if you can kind of keep an eye on the impacts they might have, the 10,000 on Canada, 10,000 in Mexico, with express troops on both sides, with the express purpose of trying to reduce the opiates and the fentanyls coming into our country. And I want to know what impact, if any, that's going to have in the city of Lawrence.
Sure.
So as you're going through this, I'm going to be curious to see what kind of analysis, if there is any, if there's going to be any difference being made. Thank you, Council President.
Council President.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Through you, Council President. I have a question regarding the customers that you guys highlighted from, that this report highlights from New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont. Does Lawrence Police keep a track record of how many you encounter for each?
So we could, I don't, like, our unit doesn't keep a tally of, you know, but it's certainly something that we could do. We could certainly, you know, punch in. I mean, for instance, tonight, we made an arrest right before we got here, And there was, I believe, 2 males and 1 female. And I believe 2 were from New Hampshire and 1 was someplace else. I forget the other town, but from New Hampshire. So the majority of the customers are from outside of the city. Obviously, the drugs, especially the opioids, it's a lot cheaper here, and they come here for the reduced price. And then, you know, they're either using or going to their communities and selling it for much, much more.
I would be curious to know how many from each state that travel here to Lawrence for this type of activity. I don't know if it's I'm not sure if it's a well, it's up to you guys, but a data point that we need for the rest of this program. But as of right now, I am curious to know the number of individuals.
Put something together for sure.
Thank
Can
you.
you share it with all the councilors?
Sure.
Thank you. Councilors, any other questions in regard to this $30,000?
Yes,
Councilor
Council
Luzon.
President. And I'm going to refer to the same paragraph a little bit below that Councilor Infante mentioned. This organization, and it refers to Dominicans, Dominican Drug Trafficking Organization. Is that, why it is it called like that?
So we didn't put this together. This was done by the state. So, you know, the majority of the drug trafficking organizations, that's, you know, what it is. But again, I'm not putting this together. This was given to us from the state to compare what happened with all the other cities and towns and Lawrence. So this was we don't handle the statistics. We work with the state police in regards to this grant. There needs to be at least one Lawrence police officer who's on the grant and one state trooper on the grant. We can't go out and do our own directed patrols. And then all of the numbers and all the arrests get sent in, and the state police is who puts this together.
But you send some type of data to the state.
We
I'm
don't.
really concerned
So what
about
happens
this
is-
naming an organization with, I read here, it's a Dominican Drug Trafficking Organization. So my question to you is, how do they get this data? Are they all Dominicans?
No, they're not all Dominicans.
Okay,
by
this
no means.
name is making me very
Right, but what they
uncomfortable.
do, it would be, correct, and I
Thank you.
understand. But what they do is they take the data that's given to them, the booking sheets or whatnot, just like we just spoke about 3 customers that came to Lawrence today. They were all Caucasian. And it's, you know, the data is the data, and what we do is we take the booking sheets, we take our arrest stats, and we send them in, and like I said, that's the report that was produced.
I'm going to repeat this again. The name is very concerning.
I understand.
And just I think someone should let them know, and I don't know from where they get the data, but they just form an organization here,
Right. Your
and
point
they
is
name
well
it.
taken.
Oh, thank you. I know you understand, and I thank you for your answer, but this is very concerning. Please, if there's any way to address this issue, because it's very concerning to me as a part of the Dominican community.
Okay.
Thank you, officer.
You're very welcome.
Can you follow up and clarify those data as Councilor Song was requesting?
Sure.
Thank you. Councilors, any other questions in regard to this grant? Councilor Levy.
Yes. There is any other group mentioned in the same way that they are mentioned Dominican group?
I believe that they're looking at the arrest and the nationality of the arrest. Again, like I said before, we arrested 3 customers today, and the 3 customers were all Caucasians, but that's not saying that every drug customer is Caucasian. That's not saying that every drug dealer is Dominican. It's you know, it's the landscape of the business. And again, I don't believe that I don't believe to say that every drug trafficking organization are Dominicans, just like I don't think it's fair that to specify that every customer is Caucasian. I believe that they're taking the statistics of what comes in. Like today, again, we weren't able to lock up the dealer today, so we don't know what the dealer was, but we do know that the 3 customers were Caucasian.
Through you, Council President.
Councilor Levy?
You said this is like something national. That information is, the data is a national.
No. What I said was.
It's local.
We take our stats of the arrests that we make, and we send them in. And it gets sent into the state police, because the state police is the organization that is the department that's handling this grant. So when we make an arrest, the booking sheets and whatnot are sent in to the state police, to those who run the grant. And they came up with and I believe, I mean, if we looked at the other cities and towns, which I haven't, I don't know, what they say for the other cities and towns.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we would like to follow a little bit on this and to get a little bit more information, because this is very disappointed, at least the Dominican community.
All right. Thank you, councilors. Councilors, if there is no further questions, I'll call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Now, Madam Chair. Okay. Now, Madam Chair, let's go to 2425, which is the authorization to spend $299,866.91.
Item 2425, the authorization to expend in the amount of $299,800.
91? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Let me repeat that.
Yep.
Authorization to expend $299,866.91 towards the Shannon grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security. The Budget and Finance Committee sent this up with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion on the table,
Second.
properly second. Before we call the vote,
Discussion.
I would like to recognize the councilor that Rosario have recused himself due to a potential conflict of interest for this vote. Councilors, any discussions on this matter?
Discussion.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. The Budget and Finance Committee asked for a presentation to be put together towards this grant. I know that you've sent something over. Are we ready for that?
Do you have a presentation?
I did send it today, yes.
Yeah. I mean, do we need it? Do we need it? Do we? Yeah?
Three, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. Okay, not a problem. Sure.
She can do it from there, and you guys can analyze it on your end, so we can advance the meeting.
Council President?
Yeah, Councilor Vice President
I
Infante.
was just told that the presentation was not sent in a timely manner, so
Yeah.
our technology group is not ready to,
Yeah, just go over the presentation with while you have. We have it over here, so we can take a look at it.
Sure. Good evening, City Councils. Rosa Shepard, Director of Support Services at the Lawrence Police Department. We were awarded $299,000, $866.91 for the Shannon grant. We have been receiving this grant for about 11 years, and we have partners with different communities. Today, I just want to emphasize the work that the police department does with the youth with the youth in Lawrence. This grant is for the Junior Police Academy from 12 to 18 years. For the youth at the high school department. It's a 2-week summer program that provides uniform, books, bags, notebooks, pens, and police swag for those that participate under this program. The past 2 years, they have graduated 80 students under the Junior Police Department. The skill that is being taught under this grant is communication, conflict de-escalation, and teamwork. One of the greatest points that I want to emphasize on this grant is that they have been able to graduate, out of this grant, the Union Police Department, they have been able to obtain 4 current full-time police officers. So this is a very successful program that is, again, we've been having it for the past 11 years, and it's being run by the Lawrence Police Department.
Any questions on this matter? All right, I'll call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? The ayes have it. We're going straight to the next item 25. Madam Vice President and Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Council President. Through you, item 25-25, authorization to expend $37,490 towards the BJA FY24 Edward Ryan Justice Assistance Grant was sent up with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Any questions in regard to this matter? All right, I hear none. To the motion to approve, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Item 2625, Madam Vice President Infante.
Item 26-25, authorization to expend $5,000 towards the mini grant BJA Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Use Program was sent up with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table, properly second discussion on the matter.
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante.
I'm just going to repeat the earlier point. I'm very curious what's going on nationally, how that's impacting our city with regard to our borders, and knowing what's happening, if there's any impact whatsoever, and if this is clearly it's going to try to help the situation out. But I'm asking our folks in our city to pay attention to what's happening locally as national issues are affecting us. And so I just want to see what impact opioids are having in our city as the year progresses. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Any other questions in regard to this matter? I hear none. I'll call the questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Council President.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. I would like to take out of order, under old business, item 383B-23, appropriation transfer in the amount of $300,000. That was ARPA/free cash allocation for public and neighborhood safety funds to Lawrence Prospera. Yeah, make that.
Lawrence Prospera, you're making that as a motion.
And I make that as a formal motion. That's under old business, the first
That's
item
under
under
old business. Madam Clerk, do we have a previous vote on this matter? We do. Just let's get the record, please.
I just wasn't expecting that to come up so fast and fun like that.
May I, Council President?
You have the floor.
On May 7th of 2024, this item was withdrawn from the council. Those $300,000 were earmarked as part of the ARPA money. It was specifically earmarked for Project Safe Neighborhoods for policing, and it was intended for a program with the same partner. The proposal today, my understanding is rather than fund it through the police department, where the police department will then have to manage the funds of Lawrence Prospera, rather we're going to give the funds right to Lawrence Prospera to run the same program that they would have been running in partnership with the police department, that they will be running in partnership with the police department. They're just redirecting the funds differently. So at that time it was withdrawn. They're putting it back. The funds have been sitting there all this time, and so it seemed like the agency's in a position now to receive it directly, and so that was the intention. It's $300,000 for Project and neighborhood safety programs with the police department.
When that took place?
It was in May of 2024. The original proposal was in October of 2023. It went down to Budget and Finance in November of 2023. It was a $400,000 proposal. 150 of it was split out for the planning department to have some rental assistance funds, and the balance of $300,000 was for this neighborhood safety initiative.
All right, councilors, any questions on this matter? So
Through you,
the only
Council
difference will
President.
be that the Prospera organization is going to fund the money instead of the police department.
Exactly.
Council President,
Councilor Luzon.
can you, I would like to know what is
Oh,
Prospera?
Councilor Luzon, give me 1 second, please. For the record, we need to state that Councilor Del Rosario has recused himself due to a potential conflict of interest. Councilor Luzon, you might continue.
I just want to know what is Prospera, I mean, what is the,
The organization?
that.
I think
So we can have
I'm
them come
familiar,
over
I'm not
and
familiar.
explain the
We usually
a
call the
little bit
CISO
more.
Center. So,
the CISO Center is,
The kind of, that's the umbrella. Prospera is the umbrella. So you might explain a little more.
So, Dan Halloran, 24 Thomas Road, the executive director of Prospera. But that's part of CISU, so Prospera was Lawrence Family Development, DBA, Lawrence Prospera. So we've kind of got it back to Lawrence Prospera since Mr. Carrero left. So CISU is one of the main part of our organization, the Quintana Center, and then the schools.
Any questions in regard to this matter?
I have a parliamentary question.
Sure.
So,
Councilor Plum.
we disposed of this in May of 2024, did I hear that correctly? We withdrew, which is a final disposition in May of 2024, so this is within the year. So I just want to get some clarification on how we can pull this up tonight.
Madam Clerk.
I'm very supportive of the organization, hoping they get the money, but I just want to figure out how we got here.
the funds were sitting, am I not on? Sorry. The funds were sitting in an account, and they have been in the ARPA free cash account all this time over at Community Development. So we had withdrawn the document, they're just putting it back because,
Just read up through the record
Yeah.
to see what we have. What was the vote?
so in May of 2024, the item was withdrawn, with the funding sitting there.
So, but before we get to that point,
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, I think that we actually approved the ARPA funds to go to the Neighborhood Safety Initiative. And then, at that point, we approved the funds for the ARPA, from the ARPA to, the police. And then, now we are, dealing with it because the police was not going to manage it at that point.
Yeah, if I may speak.
Yeah.
So Kate King, Office of Planning and Development, 360 Merrimack Street. I was not originally involved with if you remember, the Neighborhood Safety Initiative came up separate from the other RFP process and everything. And I believe the neighborhood safety was funded in whole, with a portion of it going to Amadao to do some outreach and some activities. And then the bulk of it was left there. Prospera had come and done a presentation, and the vote was taken in a way to accept the presentation but not do any funding directly to Prospera. So today, we're trying to make sure that we fund them directly, give them a contract, and they can manage it, and then the police department doesn't have to. And the police department still gets their portion of the money, too. So
Yeah.
that was our intention, I believe.
So originally, I believe that the vote that was taken was to withdraw the plan that it was not funded
Yeah,
originally.
right.
And then, because I don't know if you guys remember, but we have Mr. Carrera coming over to give us a presentation. And then, and there was over a little bit over $1 million for the safety initiative. I'm
Yes.
talking just on top of my head.
Yes, roughly, right.
And then the plans was withdrawn because we didn't fund the plans, but we did individual portion of funding through the church, through the churches and
Amadao
stuff
got
like that and
some,
other.
And then I believe the intention was the police department to
Yeah,
get the bulk
and
of the
then
rest
this
of it.
portion was for the police department, but out of the plan, the original plan
They
that
were
was
supposed to give a portion
approved,
too.
but not funded.
Yeah.
And that was the vote that was taken, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so where they had done the presentation, I think we had just assumed, or, it was assumed that they had been funded because they were presented. But the presentation was what was voted on and accepted.
Exactly. The
not
plan was
separate-
approved, but not necessarily the funding of
Not
it.
necessarily the funding, correct.
So the vote that was withdrawn was the plan.
So the motion, I don't want to get stuck on this, and I'm going to extract myself very soon, but the final disposition was on the authorization to spend the money, but not actually the appropriation of the money? Am I making any sense?
I believe the whole money, $1 million, or roughly $1 million, was
Yeah.
appropriated. And the intention was that Amadal, they did get their contract. Amadal has their existing contract that they've been, using, working, and submitting invoices for. And the bulk of the rest of it was supposed to go to the police department, with them contracting to Lawrence Prospera to do the CSU after-school program. And they had, Lawrence Prospera had come and done a presentation that night, and the vote was taken, but if you read the vote, it was just to accept the presentation, not to separate out any funding for Lawrence Prospera. In the interest of making it easier for the police department, for community development, and for Lawrence Prospera, we want to contract directly with them, and they will submit invoices. They'll go through the regular contract process. It's reimbursable.
So the only question I have, and by the way, I visited CSU, I've talked to their officials there, I met, I'm going to use the word clients, the students, the individuals who are getting the services. And what they're doing there is phenomenal, and I want to support them as much as I possibly can, because I think they're doing fine work there. The question that I have here has nothing to do with the program, but has everything to do with how we got here. And we are pulling something up now that we haven't really debated or discussed. We have now inserted this, didn't go to committee, I don't think, this CSU Prospera portion. Did it go there? This was reported out of committee? Okay, that helps me.
With all due respect, Council, this not only went to committee, it went to committee 2 different times. Once it went to committee for public safety just to review the proposal, and then a second time to budget and finance just to review the funding. It's gone to committee, I would use the phrase ad nauseum, like that's why it was out there from October and November of '23 until May of '24 at committee, and it was discussed several times at both committees in that time frame.
So the challenge that I'm facing here, and I'm not disputing that, I don't know when the committee met, I don't see here in our records, maybe here by digging a little bit more, but what I am seeing is a message from Sue Fang to the council president on January 23rd of this year, so just a few weeks ago, saying the mayor wishes to allocate $300,000 of the public and neighborhood safety project to Lawrence Prospera. What that tells me is that he is now making this proposal to spend money there. Only thing I want to know is, did this Prospera money go to the committee, since the mayor is sending it down to us several weeks ago now? When did the committee meet? Did they know this was going there? Did they have a chance to vet it? That's the question.
Yeah, in October of, package as well, in October 25th of 2023, the Budget and Finance Committee met on this item to allocate $350,000 for public safety initiatives, which was a partnership between the police department and Prospera. The funding at that time was going to the police department. It's the exact same program, just handing the money to one partner. And for purposes of accountability, they have an excellent reputation on all fronts, but they also have an excellent reputation of giving very good grant reports back. They manage their money and keep careful track of it. So it just, on all parts, the agreed easier course for everyone was give them the money, let them do the reimbursement grant piece of it, and rather than have the police do that piece for them, which is creating work for the police when they're already doing that paperwork themselves directly.
I'll wrap it up with this, Council President.
Like I said at the very beginning, the only difference that's going to be here is that now the police department is not going to be part of it, as I previously stated.
Let me just wrap it up, and I'm going to vote in favor of it. I'm not going to put any whatever breaks or whatever on this. I just think it's important that when people are watching our meetings, wanting to know there's full transparency, which is a great buzzword now, full transparency about what's happening, especially when it comes to ARPA monies, that this thing has been vetted, it's been vetted by the Budget Committee, now it's before the full council, it is taking a vote, and it's just important, when I talk to my constituents, that they have full faith and confidence that this wasn't just tucked in at the last minute, we're putting it in right now and then voting on it. No, there's been a process here, and there just needs to be some assurance. And this is the reason why I'm asking these questions. Thank you.
All right, councilors, any other questions in regard to this matter? I hear none. At this time, I'll call the question. All those in favor,
No,
please say
no,
aye.
I have, Council President. My apologies,
Councilor Luzon,
Council
as a courtesy,
President.
I'll open the floor
Just
for
a
you.
question, Council President. Can ARPA money be used for salary? Yes.
Yes, I
No?
believe it does.
And my other question, Council President, is Lawrence.
Hold on a second, Councilor Luzon.
Yes.
The ARPA fund was removed for all the restriction from the federal government back in February 2022. Since then, it become free cash.
Okay.
So have no restriction.
Okay, thank you, because I see here they presented a budget, so they're planning to hire for 2 positions. Thank you, Council President, for your clarification. And also, it's Lawrence Prospera is a new entity. It says here, Lawrence Family Development, doing business as Lawrence Prospera. Do they have a new, a different board? Or what, or this is,
Somebody from Prospera, please take the mic.
yes.
Hi, good evening. Paul Heighthouse, I'm the Deputy Director. We rebranded as a way to create a division from the charter school. We had a issue that everyone just assumed that our organization was the charter school, and we're 2 separate organizations. So we felt it was important to rebrand ourselves, and after a rebranding process, we came to the name Lawrence Prospera. But in order to avoid having to refile with the IRS to get a new EIN number and get a new nonprofit status, we did it as a doing business as. So we refer to ourselves as Lawrence Prospera. It is, I mean, our board has changed over the years with members, as all nonprofit boards do, but it's the same organization that was founded in 1992.
Thank you so much for your clarification. Thank you, Council President.
All right, councilors, any other questions on this matter? At this time, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. We're going on top of the agenda. If they, hold on. Let's go to personnel because we have a couple of people here from personnel. Madam Vice Chair, Madam Vice President Infante, and the Chair of the Personnel Committee.
Thank you, Council President. Through you, the Personnel Committee met last week, and the first item we have under the committee is item 13-25, appointment of Daniel McCarthy as Planning Director. This item was sent up with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second. There's a motion on the table to approve Mr. McCarthy as the Planning Director. It's been properly second discussion.
Council President,
Councilor LaPlante.
very brief. We got a long night. I just, it's important to get continuity in the city, more now than ever. A lot of shuffling across the city. And to have some continuity and institutional memory is critical. And I'm glad that Mr. McCarthy, it will stay with us and this title, continue to work because he knows an awful lot about his job, knows an awful lot about the city, and it's important that we keep someone with the kind of experience that he brings to the table and make sure that he continues to help the city out. We need some old blood with the new blood. No offense, you're old blood, and we're glad to have the old blood. So thank you.
Any other questions?
It sounds a lot like calling me old, but that's fine.
Just your blood, that's all.
That. I don't deny that.
You deserve a Bloody Mary. All right, any questions? No questions for Mr. McCarthy. I do have a quick question, though. Councilor McCarthy, can you explain the difference between of what you were doing before to what are you going to do now compared to your duties and actually, if it is any difference, who is going to be doing your job, your former job?
So the position that I was employed with before, if you remember, I was actually beginning this administration as the OPD director, and that was taken over by Carlos Matos at some point. I was still a union member, and contractually, I went back to my job in the union as a land use planner. So the land use planner does the day-to-day planning that was that involves the boards and commissions reviewing new permits, reviewing site plans and construction projects. But I've been continuing to be doing the planning positions, what we call the long-term comprehensive planning. So we do have two other positions budgeted as planners. Our intention is to hire, we have a young person who's been working in the office as an administrator, and he's going to be taking a job as a planner, I believe as a comprehensive planner, and he's going to be doing some of the work that I was doing before. But I'll still be overseeing most of that as well. So it's the same job I've essentially been doing for the last 5, 6, 7 years. I think the OPD director administrates more of the overall office, making sure that people are taking their vacations properly, they're getting their timesheets in, things of that nature. That's more of an administrative process. That's why there's a little more money in that. But the directors, all community development, economic development, planning, all oversee their own departments, and we all work together as a team as well.
Something that I have seen that we have missed in the last couple of years is that we don't have so many projects at the 10% level design that might be applicable to actually apply for perhaps transportation improvement projects. Once those projects that might not be able to be funded because of any particular issue fall off, and then those kickoff projects might jump in right away. We have. Are you planning to increase those type of projects and those designs that are done with local funds?
Yeah, I've been the primary person working with the MPO, which is our Metropolitan Planning Organization. They oversee all our transportation projects, working with Mass DOT. The projects that go into the Transportation Improvement Plan are cyclical. They're on a 5-year, 6-year cycle. I know you understand that. But the way it works is they go in as a suggestion. We get 25% plans. It's worked up. There's a process for getting these projects ready. For instance, next summer, we actually have 4 transportation plans starting within the city, which is an incredible number of plans to start in one summer. But we have the 2 intersection projects, the Amesbury Street reconstruction, and the rail trail. So those are all projects that I've been working on for the last 3 years. So and I'll continue to do that. But I'll have the opportunity to bring more staffing in to assist me with it.
All right, I just want to make sure, like, at least the city understands the importance of investing some funds at front, so we can have better products or more projects coming in from the state through those specific projects. So, Madam Vice Chair, I don't have no more questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any noes? Any nays? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. McCarthy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
So, councilors, we have an item, councilors, that actually takes Mr. McCarthy to be here with us in case that we have any questions, and that's item out of the old business, item 52124, which is the proof of tax increasement finance TIF agreement between Esperanza Academy, Nunez LLC, and the City of Lawrence. So then, do you mind going over that? I mean, we have any other, what is the motion, underlying motion on that?
It was approved.
It was approved, but we just need to retake a vote?
They asked for a ratification of the document.
So we need a second vote?
Yeah, it's basically to allow for some, put it in a...
Just go over.
They are asking for a ratification, and what I had is based on input from the city attorney's office and the acting planning director. This item is being resubmitted with a request for ratification of the vote. There are no substantive or material changes to the TIF agreement. The ratification is a request to allow for the correction of Scrivener's errors and for additional signatories to be added to the agreement. So that's in a memo. That's in a memo in your packet.
All right, councilors, any questions in regard to this matter? We need to re-vote, I guess, on this matter. Any questions? I hear no, so at this point, I'll entertain a motion, obviously. And the motion, do you have a specific language for the ratification of the vote?
Is to ratify the vote that there'll be no material or substantive changes made to the TIF agreement, but to allow for the correction of Scrivener's errors and for additional signatories to be added to the agreement.
Councilors, I'll entertain a motion to ratify the vote.
Motion to ratify the to approve.
With those specific language that it was
With the
provided.
specific language that our Madam Clerk just read.
Second.
There is a motion on the table, properly second discussion on this matter. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. McCarthy.
Thank you.
So going up to the personnel committee, we have item 1325, which is, 2725, which is the confirmation of appointment of Sari Liz Camilo Perdomo. Madam Vice President and the Chair of the Personnel Committee, please present this,
Thank you,
present this item.
President, through you. Item 27-25, the confirmation to appoint Sadie Liz Camilo Perdomo to the Zoning Board of Appeals was sent up with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There's a motion on the table to accept this, properly second discussion on this matter.
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante?
Tell me if you heard this all before, my colleagues, regarding housing. You've heard it all before, but this person apparently may not have heard that. So thank you for applying. We appreciate your willingness to serve our city. And the point that I'm making with my colleagues is when someone from the ZBA specifically or a planning board, both of those boards, one of the biggest issues that I find facing our city is housing. Critical issue. It impacts so many things. The short story is this. It's important in the role that you're in to be very, the bar should be set high for providing, variances and special permits when it comes to projects. And we have enough of an issue. I'll be speaking before your board. I often do, so you'll be hearing a little bit more of this. But I just want you to understand, or hope from my perspective, from the people that I represent, that housing is a critical issue. We need to make sure we're doing it smartly. And right now, we just can't say yes to every housing project that comes before the ZBA. We just can't do it because it has impacts on parking, it has impacts on education, it has impact on congestions and traffic, et cetera, and it goes on and on and on. So please be mindful of that as you consider, if you adopt it here this evening, as you consider those housing matters. Thank you.
Well, I want to start off by saying that I'm well aware of Sadie's years of experience in the real estate industry, and I think finally we're able to see a viable candidate to take part in a committee where I believe that your network and your knowledge would be invaluable. I believe that the city will definitely benefit from having you take place in this board and making decisions, and I believe that I can trust in your judgment to be able to make proper decisions that would be a benefit to the city. With that, I also want to add to the fact that in my district specifically, we have dealt with shelters coming into place. There were issues in regards to zoning. I'm not sure if you, being a new member, are you made aware as to the things that are pending or any prior cases to which would affect the city going forward now that you're joining the board?
I haven't been full aware of like the things that are pending at the moment because I haven't gotten engaged with the things, that are going on. But I'm pretty sure that McCarthy will put me up to date. But I know, what's going on in the community because I live in the community. I live in Lawrence, and I've attended some of the meetings as well before. So I know the things that are, critical to the community and what we're looking to get. So, yes.
And I appreciate the efforts that you've made so far, such as attending the meetings to be able to be aware as to what are the things that are critical to the city. So I look forward to meeting with you, just like one of many members, making decisions that a lot of folks don't understand as to how important and how it affects the city, and how sometimes as counselors that we represent and we try to be a voice, we're sometimes blocked and shunned away from those important factors. So, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'll pass in the gavel to Councilor Vice President.
Council President?
Thank you for the opportunity. Sadi, thank you for applying for this position. This is very important. And knowing you well about how you care about the community, that's I'm extremely happy about having somebody that really cares about what's going on in the city. You've been part of multiple organizations that I'm also part of, and that's great. I just want to know, like, the importance of these of this board is to the top. I mean, sometimes we don't understand how important this is until we actually get affected by the decision made by the board. But knowing the fact that this is so important, having somebody on board that really cares about the community is a plus. And I know that you care, so thank you. The second thing that I would like to mention is that sometimes as a counselor, we're not aware of what's going on at the board. And sometimes an open communication of a project coming up, the assumption is terrible. Because sometimes we assume that everybody knows about it, but guess what? Sometimes strategically, that information is not provided, not by the city necessarily, but, you know, sometimes because the project is very delicate, the project is not good for people to know what's going on, and sometimes that skip like under the radar, and it's affecting us big time, especially with things that we care. There is different councilors that care about housing. There's different councilors that care about shelters. There's councilors that care about all those stuff altogether. So sometimes we don't know. So having a key communication point, it's important so we can talk about things that affect the community. And if you see something that you think is important, sharing it with us, it's something that is great. As a board member, you have complete independence of information that get to you, how to dissipate those information. It's public information. Don't be scared about sharing it with us or the public if they ask for. There is information that is, not necessarily up to that level, but please dissipate all those because I think it's important to have open communication with the different boards and especially the city council. So thank you, Sadi.
Thank you.
Councilor Santiago.
Welcome, Sadi. And just I want to highlight how community person you are, and you love to help, and that's the people we need in the city. People love to do community service, and I let me highlight your resume. You are very prepared for any kind. The position you can apply. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Sadie.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we're going on top of the agenda. There is anybody else from the public that you have a pending item? I don't think there is any. So we're going on top of the agenda with the public hearings. Madam Chair, please read the notice for public hearing related to item 32524. Yeah, 15-minute parking at 294 Prosper Street.
Council document number 325-24, notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 4, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass., pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and in accordance with the recently revised City Council Rule 2. This meeting shall be hybrid, allowing participants to participate in person and remotely to accommodate any participant with health considerations that prevent them from participating in person. To receive access codes for remote participation, please contact the city clerk at eileen.bernal@cityoflawrence.com or 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on Facebook and YouTube. The purpose of the hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following subparagraphs in the proper alphabetical order. Section 10.36.260 of the Municipal Code, 15-minute parking. East Haverhill Street, north side, from a point 20 feet west of Prospect Street to a point 40 feet west of Prospect Street between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody from the public that wishes to speak? Public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what's the motion?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days.
There's a motion to approve and waive the 30 days. Properly second discussion on the matter. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Item, Madam Chair, Madam Clerk, please read the notice for item 410, 526, 562, and 57524.
Motion to waive the preamble.
There's a motion to waive the preamble.
Second.
Properly second discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Madam Clerk.
Document number 410-24, 526-24, 562-24, and 575-24. Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, and reading the preamble, sorry. The purpose of this hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence to be further amended by adding the following subparagraphs to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicapped parking, in the proper alphabetical order. Document number 410-24, Forest Street, east side, from a point 219 feet north of Highgate Street to a point 239 feet north of Highgate Street. Document number 526-24, Fulton Street, west side, from a point 400 feet north of Haverhill Street to a point 420 feet north of Haverhill Street. Document number 562-24, High Street, west side, from a point 77 feet north of Pleasant Street to a point 97 feet north of Pleasant Street. And document number 575-24, Hancock Street, southwest side, from a point 220 feet south of Doyle Street to a point 240 feet south of Doyle Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open for item 410-24, 526-24, 562-24, and 575-24. Anybody from the public that wishes to speak? I hear none. At this time, public hearing is now closed. We're going to take each individual item to take a proper vote. Councilors, I'll entertain a motion for item 410-24, which is the handicap parking at 23 Forest Street.
Motion past 10.
Motion to pass 10 has been made, properly second, discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 410-24, handicap parking 23 Forest Street. There's a motion to approve, properly second. Any discussion on this matter? I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 526-24, the handicap parking on the 18 Fulton Street. Can I hear a motion? There's a motion to approve, properly second. Discussion on this matter? I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 562-24, handicap parking at 120 High Street. Can I hear a motion? Motion to approve, properly second, discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 575-24, handicap parking at 128 Hancock Street. Can I hear a motion? Motion to approve, properly second. Any discussion? I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now, councilors, if councilors don't mind, I'm gonna go to the Ordinance Committee, and there is one specific item that we have for Mr. McCarthy, but before we do that, Mr. Chair from the Ordinance Committee, will you please present the report for item 1625? Yes, the last one on the ordinance report.
The ordinance committee met on this document 1625 to approve the layout and alteration plan for a portion of Glen Street. This was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
This is being paid for by the state. The MBTA is going to do all this work. It's under a section of the federal financing called Chapter 130 in Massachusetts, and it's a project to improve intersections, dangerous intersections for rail crossing. It's part of a wider project which we're doing, which is the Industrial Rail Project, IRAP. We recently repaired the rail line from Broadway to Beacon Street. The next step will be to do the work we're talking about, the Chapter 130, which will be, our engineers designing it, but work will be completely done by the state. And then we'll move on to the second part of that, which is IRAP 2, which will be a spur line that goes through several private industrial areas into the industrial park, providing freight rail service to a number of businesses within the city. It'll increase jobs, it'll increase efficiency, and it'll give us a leg up in the future as we deal with the cost of moving freight through this country. So it's a big advancement. And again, this is being done almost mainly with grant money.
Any questions, Councilor? What is the participation of the city when it comes to funding?
The city portion of it on our part, which is the IRAP, it's a 60-40 split. We're responsible for 40%. We try and do that mainly with in-kind service, and we've got a project agreement with the MBTA. So they provide us all our supplies, which are rail lines, ties, in infrastructure, basically the materials for constructing the rail line. They provided us through their excess excess project services. So we get those, and those are valued and given to us in kind, and that's part of our value. At the end of the day, it's important for us. For instance, the rail line that we did from Broadway to Beacon Street, I believe the final cost on that was about $800,000. The city had to pay $29,000 towards that. So it's a
Right.
very minimal amount of money.
Councilors, any questions in regard to this matter? There is none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. McCarthy.
Okay, thank you.
So we go. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The attorney's advice was just to leave it where it is,
It's
and I
like
think
if
that
it's
is-
fine, keeping it there, and there is not further issue raised up, and then we good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we need to discuss these, councilors. Today is not a good day to discuss that in the executive section, and then that's why we put them on for 2 weeks. All right, we're just gonna keep it there. Committee report, we have the budget and finance that we already finished. We have the housing committee there is no report. And we're going on top of the agenda, which is the ordinance committee, item 1824, Councilor LaPlante and the chair of the ordinance committee.
Thank you.
Miss Mark.
For 24, and that's a one-way Orchard Street. This was sent up to the full council with the recommendation to withdraw, and I make that as a motion.
There is a motion to withdraw, properly second, and discussion. Right here, non-discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 38324.
This item was sent, this said no parking on Canton Street on the right side, and this was sent up with the ordinance committee's recommendation based on Councilor Santiago and the police department in respect to the area of Canton Street between High Street and Prospect Street. The police department has a favorable recommendation for no parking on the right-hand side of Canton Street. That is what's being sent up to the full council to order a public hearing, and make that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion to order a public hearing, properly second, discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 55424, four-way stop sign.
This was sent up to the full four-way stop sign, intersection of Genesee Street and Madison Street. This was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to withdraw, and to make that as a motion.
There's a motion to withdraw,
Discussion.
properly second on the withdrawal. Discussion, Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you, Council President. I had a discussion with the supervisor of this, of the officer that, that handled this matter. I was made aware that the reason why he made he did not recommend for the four-way stop sign was because of the accident record. However, I've had 3 constituents of that area complain to me about speeding. And when I spoke to Captain McCarthy, who is the supervisor, I reminded him of that there are times when we put things on the item is to prevent something from happening. I also shared with him the process that we went through when it was Officer Abel Cano that was in charge of this. I mentioned to Captain McCarthy that councilors should at least receive a call before LPD make a recommendation, because they might not have the full story. Or So yeah, so I don't recommend, I would like to make a motion to approve this. Like I said, I had 3 constituents from this area complaining about speeding. I mentioned to Captain McCarthy, unless you guys are going to have a dedicated police officer always on the side streets, we don't have any other solution to try to remedy the speeding. I mean, in addition to that, we have 4 years waiting on the administration to implement speed reducers that we keep hearing about, and they're nowhere to be found either. So something needs to be done before something happens.
Councilors, we have a suggestion from Councilor Vice President Infante, which is in regard to actually approve this item to order a public hearing, I guess, right? And then have further discussion. If we approve the public hearing, that doesn't mean that we approving the item. That means that we're going to have further hearing from the public, which they're going to have an opportunity to come. And then at that point, we're going to have the ultimate decision. And we're going to look at everything. Also, that is important to recognize, like, how many accidents we have on that intersection. If the accident passed a certain amount, it should be recommended, but we don't have that data at this point.
I believe he said that there were no accidents reported, but it wasn't necessarily the accident. It's the speeding issue of those side streets, and that road is just a long road that.
Yeah,
obviously,
I understand,
it's a
but
perfect road for speeding.
sometimes what happened with that accident reporting is that intersections are not being taken into consideration. Instead, what they do, they take perhaps addresses. The address is right at the intersection, but it's not being reported as an accident being happening at the intersection. So that is a kind of like, you know, a way of kind of like, you know, making sure that we got the right data. So it happened in the past. I don't know if that is the case, but I mean, that's also, oh my God,
Council
crazy,
President, from my discussion with Captain McCarthy, it was a very good conversation, understood, and he's going to go back and look at ways that we can improve this. I also mentioned to him that the officer that is now doing the ordinance should have every city councilor's phone number to check in with ordinance, at least before moving forward. And if they still believe that something should be there or something shouldn't, but at least we have that connection.
Yeah.
It comes back to the ordinance committee.
And Councilor President, we have a meeting next week actually with the police department in regard to this matter, because we're going to look at this in a broader way to actually make sure that, you know, councilors' opinion it's been taken care of. At least a phone call, because there is a couple of sections at the federal level that allow a stop sign or a traffic light, a couple of warrants that need to take care, and some of that is also what's happening in the neighborhood in a different dimension. But I mean, definitely having a conversation with the councilors, it is extremely needed, because we have information from the constituents.
I was going to say, I wouldn't say opinion. This comes from our constituents.
Yeah. Madam Vice Chair, do you mind first having those conversations table this at this matter, and then probably have a writing opinion from the police department, so we don't deviate from the whole intent of getting an opinion from the police?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Councilor LaPlante, you have a question?
No, I think we just have a motion to withdraw that's before us right now that we haven't dispensed with from the committee, so that's still there.
Yeah, there is a motion to withdraw from the committee, then there was a motion, a desire to make a motion to table. Did you make the motion to table, Council? No, I mean, it was not, and then another motion might take precedence if there is another motion.
Motion to table.
It's a motion to table, no discussion on the table matters, properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. So going on top of the agenda, which is item 56024, Councilor LaPlante, the chair of the Ordinance Committee.
Sure. Just a port of parliamentary query. If you look at Rule 16 under our rules, it goes in order of precedence. Number 1 is adjourn, second 2 is recess, number 3 is motion to withdraw, and then number 4 is a motion to table. If we wanted to do it correctly, the motion, I could have withdrawn the motion to withdraw, and then allow the council vice president to make a motion to table if we wanted to do it as our rules require us to do.
We can follow the Rule 16, no problem. So there is do you want to go back? Let's go back to the item, let's untable it. There is a motion to untable, item 55424.
Motion to untable.
There's a motion to untable, properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Councilor Plan.
Sure, so I'm going to make a motion to, I'm going to make a motion as a committee report, and that's going to be my motion. That's neutral. I'm looking for a
So
second.
you're looking forward to, your motion originally, the underlying motion is to withdraw. So do you
I'm
want to
removing
remove
that,
your
I'm
motion?
removing that motion to withdraw, and now I'm just making a simple committee report.
Yes. So it's a motion to accept that as a committee report?
Correct.
All right,
Second.
there is a motion to accept that as a committee report, properly second. And then
Motion to
now
table.
we have a motion to table, properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 56024.
This item was no parking at 37 Shattuck Street between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. That was sent up to the full council with the recommendation to order a public hearing and make that as a motion.
So motion on the table, properly second. Discussion on the matter. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye to order a public hearing.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 57324, a stop sign at High Street,
So this is a stop sign at High Street at
Highland and High Street, at High Street.
Correct.
Hold on, High Street at Highland Avenue.
Right. So the full council send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing pending DPW report, which we all have in front of us in support of it, as long as it's on as long as the stop sign is on Highland Street, Highland Avenue, excuse me, and not on High Street. Make sense? That's the motion.
There is a motion on the table to order a public hearing, properly second. Discussion. Councilor Vice President. Councilor Vice President. Councilors, we have an issue, the city of Lawrence, through you, Madam Vice President Infante. We have an issue in the city of Lawrence, and we need to address this. It's very concerning that we have this issue, and this is a safety issue. Minor intersections in the city of Lawrence sometimes do not have a stop sign. So therefore, if we don't have a stop sign on either intersection, either minor or major intersection, we are authorizing both vehicles to collide and to have an accident. It is happening throughout the city of Lawrence, and what I'm trying to propose at some point is to allow the administration to have a stop sign or a traffic control at the minor intersection without not necessarily going through city council. If we're going to do a four-way stop sign, which is basically on each approach having a stop sign, and then it will come to us. But we have to have one of the two approaches coming to that intersection to be controlled, to avoid accidents. Right now, we don't. If somebody from Mississippi, perhaps, come over to the city of Lawrence, they don't know the city, they're going to go straight. Somebody from any other place, they're going to keep on driving. A lot of people might say, you need to use common sense. Not necessarily, because traffic conditions are traffic conditions. We need to provide that common sense as a city. We need to have traffic control on one of the approaches. Usually, all the cities and towns, they have an ordinance that they authorize the DPW to do that recognition of what is the minor street. And then on that minor street, they install a traffic control, usually and a stop sign on the minor street. If we look at the city roads, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of intersections that collide to each other that do not have a traffic control, which is, in this case, stop signs. If we do an administrative policy or an ordinance that allow the administration to indicate what's the minor street and what they're going to control, we are going to have a better safe city. I've been thinking about this for years. I have brought it up before, but people misunderstand what I was saying, and they keep on saying that I wanted to have four-way stop sign on each intersection. No, that's not the case. We have to have minor road, control it, and if we don't, essentially, we're going to keep on having accidents. So this is the situation, I believe. There is no stop sign on this intersection. We need to actually make an ordinance for this specific intersection, but we need to do it for every single one of them. I don't think it's productive. So I think I will suggest in the future to please look into this. So when we have an ordinance to allow the administration to identify minor road and actually control those intersections without having to come to city council because it's already approved in a broader ordinance, that please look into it because it is important. So with that said, Madam Chair, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Discussion?
Councilor Santiago.
Yes. And in this item, the constituent about the speed limit over there in accident in this intersection, and that's the T intersection. And that's why I put a stop sign, High Street and Highland Avenue. And they only approve for Highland, not for High Street. And if I am not wrong, I think they are already in Highland Avenue. Doesn't make sense.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Just going to make a comment, if I
Councilor
may.
Lozon.
And I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know why this council has to deal with stop signs and handicap parkings. I'm not a transit. I don't have any knowledge of, how does it called, transit, engineering, in transit. Traffic engineer, thank you. And maybe the council president knows more. He's an engineer. But the rest of us, we spend so much time talking about stop signs, handicap parking, that they have to be approved by law. I think that should be moved to a DPW department or to a different commission like other cities do. Because to be honest, nothing that I will say here will make a lot of sense to an engineer, because I'm not an engineer, a traffic engineer. So I just going to put it out there. We get so many calls for things that we not necessarily have the right information. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Reyes.
So I think we don't have the knowledge to decide, but it's a beautiful connection we have with our constituents, because the other way you don't have close connection with our people, with our constituents, because they request to us and we know what they need and what they're looking for. I think it's a beautiful connection to you connect with your constituent and supporting and moving forward what is the item they request. I love it to do that.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the motion on the table is to order a public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Clerk, Madam Clerk, can you do a roll call, please?
Coge uno adelante. Sí. No depende de la cantidad de accidentes.
Gonna to take a roll call, if that's okay?
Yeah, Rocco.
Counselor Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Marmal?
Yes.
Counselor Santiago?
No.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon?
No.
Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante? I'm sorry, I probably should have done the Council
No.
President on this item.
I vote yes.
And Council Vice President.
I'm going to vote with the district counselor. I vote no.
Motion carries 6-3.
What's the count?
6-3, motion carries.
All right, we're gonna go on top of the agenda, which is item 58724. Mr. Councilor LaPlante, the chair of the Ordinance Committee.
Second.
There's a motion on the table, properly second. Any discussion on this matter? Is this a four-way stop sign?
Discussion.
Councilor Vice President Infante?
Thank you. This is not a four-way, this is a T intersection.
Senten.
That's not a four-way.
No, I say
It's-
Senten. I say Senten.
Same thing, that's not the same
Yes,
thing
as
as a four.
previously.
Oh, yeah, so what's happening with that? So that's where Jefferson Street turns into the main Mount Vernon Street. There were videos, so there's a Facebook Mount Vernon neighborhood page. The constituents were sharing videos of people just running that intersection. Now, this is an intersection that many Frost School kids cross, and also, as you guys know, Mount Vernon Street and Jefferson Street are streets that many people walk and run and ride bikes. So the comments within those videos, constituents were saying you would think it's, like you mentioned, it's common sense to stop, but sometimes it might not be. So I'm just gonna take the precaution and request for the council to approve a stop sign.
So for the
there.
stop sign, we're gonna be on Jefferson, on both?
It'll be facing Jefferson, because the incidents happen Jefferson going onto Mount Vernon.
So is the stop sign gonna be on Jefferson
On
going to?
Jefferson, yeah.
So what, the Senten, yeah?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, councilors, any questions for this matter?
I just want to make one quick comment.
Councilor LaPlante?
So there's been some talk this evening, which I don't disagree with, which is having communication with the police department with respect to things that are in our district. Makes sense, right? I would recommend, as a practice, for us to contact the police department. If you put something, whoever you are, on the agenda that has a one-way or a stop sign or a handicap or whatever, make a phone call to the police department. I go, listen, I got 3 items. I got this item, this item, and item. I want you to know where I'm coming from. I put it on because of this reason, that reason, and this reason. Hope you'll factor that in when you make your recommendation. Be proactive, have a conversation, and then you're good, right? And it puts it's obligations on us to make that decision. So that's my recommendation I would have for my colleagues.
No
I'm going to
problem.
support this. Thank you.
All right, any other questions on this matter?
Council President.
Councilor Vice President Infante?
Thank you. I think in terms of being proactive, when Officer Abel Cano was the LPD appointee, he made sure that we had his contact information and made sure that he welcomed that communication. And in discussion with Captain McCarthy, what I was told was this was also just put on their plate, where these detectives or lieutenant, I'm unsure of what their titles are, but they have other responsibilities within the LPD department. So it's not, sometimes it's not, they just have too much on their plates. But I would gladly get his contact number and be more proactive.
Any other comment or questions on this matter?
Council President.
Councilor Luzon.
And just to add to my colleague comment, we have a lot of items that we haven't received any response. And I spoke with members of the Ordinance Committee. I spoke with Teresa. I sent emails. She had sent different emails. And the response is not.
Councilor
So-
Luzon, there was a change on the police department, so a lot of reports are coming through the ordinance committee.
Well, but thank you for letting us know that, because I sent emails and it's zero response. Just to put it out there for the record.
All right, any other questions in regard to this matter? To order a public hearing, all those in favor, please say aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Item 58924. Handicap parking at 71
Yeah, I'll start
Florida
with,
Street.
I'll start with, if that's right, 58824, which is handicap parking at 359 Lawrence Street. This was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
There is a motion on the table to order a public hearing, properly second on the discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. 58924, handicap parking on 71 Florida Street.
This was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
All right, there's a motion to order a public hearing, properly second discussion on this matter. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 59024.
This is no parking anytime Water Street South Side from Ames Street to Dole Street. Sent up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
Motion to order a public hearing on this matter. Any questions?
Second.
There is no questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 0325.
Handicap parking at 17 Butler Street was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
There's a motion on the table, properly second on the discussion on this matter. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 0425. This is the order of public hearing as well.
This is the handicap parking at 111A Chester Street was sent up to the full council to order a public hearing. That was, they make that in a form of a motion.
There's a motion to order a public hearing, properly second discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 0525.
This is the handicap parking at 248 Salem Street was sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table to order a public hearing, properly second. All those, there is any questions? I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 0625.
This is handicap parking at 30 Well Street. It was sent up to the full council with favorable recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
Second.
There's a motion on the table to order a public hearing, properly second in the discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 0725.
This is handicap parking at 143 Parker Street. This was sent up to the full council with favorable recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
Second.
Motion to order a public hearing, properly second, and a discussion on this matter. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item 0825.
This is a document, no parking anytime on Brookville Street between Kenneth Street and Lennox Street, both sides, was sent up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing. That's the motion.
Second.
All right, there is a motion on the table, properly second. Any discussion to order a public hearing on this item? I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye. The ayes have it. We're going on top of the agenda. Public Safety Committee, there is no reports. Committee of the Whole, there is no report. All business, we already discussed the all business. Any table matters, councilors, that we'd like to discuss? All right, there is none, so we go straight to the new business. Item 3024, review the city turn list criteria and procedures, requesting LPD and DPW to participate. This is going to Ordinance Committee. Let's see, yes, this is on Public Safety. We're gonna send this item to Public Safety, Madam Vice President, so we have an item on the Public Safety. Item 3225, handicap parking on 33 Bruce Street. This is going to Ordinance Committee. Item 3325, handicap parking 19 Extension Street. This is going to Ordinance Committee. Item 3425, removal of handicap parking at 57 Bigelow Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 3525, remove a handicap parking at 39 East Haver Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 3625, remove handicap parking at 67 Farnham Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 3725, proposed ordinance 2.56.160, clinicians. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 3825, confirm the appointment of Pamela Gomel, Assistant Commissioner of Health and Code Services. This is going to Personnel Committee. Item 3925, authorization to spend $35,000. 2025 Department of Fire Services and Safety Equipments. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 4025, appropriation transfer of $100,000 from APR account to 262590 to new project account. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 4125, issuance a grant assurance and authorization to spend $361,190 Mass DOT Automatic Division grant. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 2425, authorization to spend $125,215 Housing Choice Grant, Planning Grant for Reviviendo Getaway 2.0. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 4325, authorization to spend $130,000 Housing Choice from AOHLC Planning Grant, Government Transportation Center. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 4425, opioid settlement funds update, model of fund application development, pregnancy tracker. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 4525, merge of a portion of Bay Road with city-owned land. Mass General Law C-40, Section 15, for future development and recreational park. This is going to the Housing Committee. Item 4625, rezoning a portion of the city land of Bay Street Road and Jordan Street from general industry I-2 to open space recreational OCR. This is going to we're gonna send it to zoning so they can start working on that, and then subsequently we're gonna be reviewing that at the Ordinance Committee once they get the report to us.
Do you want to keep those two together and send them both to ordinance only because it's the same project, basically, just kind of two parts, the merging of the land and then the rezoning of the land?
But there are two different situations going on there.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep it like that.
Project, though,
I know, but I mean, it's different then, because one is the merge, one is the rezoning, and then they all work together at the Ordinance Committee. All right. Essentially, the item 425, I also, once it get discussed at the housing, it's also going to be merged together with the report coming from the zoning board. Is going to go to the Ordinance Committee altogether because this is all one project. Councilors, any other matters? If it's not, we're going straight to the committees. Budget ordinance.
Next Tuesday, 11th, 7 p.m.
All right, ordinance next Tuesday. Budget and finance.
Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Housing.
Can we do housing at Wednesday at 7? It's just one item.
Just one item. And then we have public safety.
Public safety, Thursday at 6.
Thursday at 6, public safety. We have personnel.
Wednesday at 5:30. There's only.
It's only one item, Wednesday at 5:30.
Council President, I got a question for the Budget Committee Chair. Is an hour enough time? Because you have a 6 o'clock meeting for budget and 7 o'clock for housing. Is that enough time for the budget to complete their business?
I like 4. 4 or 5.
And the only reason why I'm saying that is I don't want to come in here and.
Unless-
And it cause, you know,
No, unless, our vice president wants to allow me to take the 6 and then
Yeah, let's
they could do
switch it.
6:30.
You only have
Let's
one
switch it.
item. though.
Let's
Exactly,
switch
could do
it.
6 and then
Yeah.
30 minutes,
Yeah, let's
6:30
switch
for
it.
budget and finance.
Let's switch it.
Yeah, I think it will make more sense.
Let's just keep budget at 7.
Yeah, housing is gonna be at 6:30 on Wednesday. And then budget and finance, housing is at 6, budget and finance is at 6:30.
I just really,
Oh, okay, you want a 7? Okay,
I just-
6:30 and 7.
really liked how early we got out last time when we made all the meetings earlier.
And we put in public safety, personnel, excuse me, on that same day?
And personnel is gonna be on Thursday, together with safety, I believe.
No, that was Wednesday, 5:30. But I can put it with public safety.
6?
You can put it on, we can put it with public safety, and that will be.
Yeah, let's do
Idea.
Thursday at 5:30.
So let's go back. Ordinance is next Tuesday at 7. Budget and finance, housing is at 6:30 on Wednesday. 6:30. 6:30 and then 7, budget and finance, right? Yeah. And then you have, on Thursday, you have personnel and safety.
Personnel will be at 5:30, and then public safety at 6 PM? Does that work for you, Tom?
Yeah, you have one item on personnel. All right, councilors, anything else? All right, thank you, councilors, for being patient with this meeting today. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion to adjourn, properly second, discussion, I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it.